Welcome back, everyone, to the F1 weekend predictions, and we're going to start with the most washed driver at the moment in Formula One. And the answer is really going to surprise you. The most washed Formula One driver right now is Fernando Alonso. I can't even believe I'm saying it, but it's true. He's bottom of the standings in F1. He didn't finish in Melbourne. He didn't finish in China. If he doesn't finish in Japan, there are genuinely going to be serious questions about whether Fernando Alonso should retire. I'm not even joking. He crashed out on his own regard in Melbourne. It was all the other rookies crashing out and also Fernando Alonso. So can't believe we're coming in with Alonso for most washed driver, but I genuinely don't think you can disagree. I don't think Liam Lawson is being written off as washed like that. Liam Lawson's at the beginning of his career. Everyone's saying it's the Red Bull car. It's not Liam Lawson's fault. They developed too much for Verstappen. That's not the case at Aston Martin, where Alonso's been there now for a while. So no excuses for Aston Martin and Fernando Alonso. Now going on to the driver on fire. The driver on fire going into Japan is clearly Yuki Tsunoda. It's his home race. He's just been promoted to Red Bull when everyone, including myself, said it will never happen. They'll never promote him. They've done it. They've binned Liam Lawson out of the car after only 2 races. It's going to be huge for Yuki Tsunoda. Max Verstappen is currently second in the World Drivers' Championship standings. So that Red Bull has still got some pace in it. Like, don't write off the Red Bull. People are saying like Red Bull's a midfield team now. No, it isn't. Yuki Tsunoda could have an insane season here. Let's not forget, if Red Bull get their mojo back, and maybe they get the regulations right next season, and let's say they keep Yuki Tsunoda could be now a future World Drivers' Champion. Whereas we thought he was going to go to Aston Martin at some point with Honda and kind of be like, it's a Japanese driver at Honda, and it was not really about World Drivers' Championships. That's changed now. Big opportunity for Yuki Tsunoda. He is a driver on fire as we head into Japan. So the most washed team in Formula One right now as we head into Japan is Ferrari. Ferrari are just so utterly washed. Just to recap, if you didn't know this, Ferrari got both cars disqualified in China. I think it was a world first. Lewis Hamilton for wearing down the skid block and Charles Leclerc for just being underweight. Like, such an easy thing to kind of think about. Oh, we're using the tyres quite a lot. Maybe we should, pick up some more rubber on the in-lap, or, we should just do this or do that. They didn't do it. Or maybe we should change the front wing. Didn't do any of that. Both cars disqualified. That massively changes Ferrari's trajectory of the season. There was a window of like 18 hours where Lewis Hamilton was like guaranteed to be an 8-time World Drivers' Champion after he'd won the sprint race, to like finishing the race and being disqualified and not having the best race either. So Ferrari are the most washed team at the moment. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Team on fire right now. Which team is on fire in F1 right now? It's McLaren. It has to be McLaren. McLaren are just oozing confidence, oozing arrogance, I would say. It feels arrogant from McLaren, like they're going to have to choose which of their drivers is going to be the champion this season. But we all think that's the reality, and we're all kind of like, okay, well, maybe McLaren have the fastest car, and that's not too exciting. But at least we're going to see Norris and Piastri go head-to-head, rip each other's necks off. Who's going to win that battle? What if it gets mental? What if it gets ugly? What happens when they make contact side by side? What happens when one blames the other? What happens when we have multi-21? Multi-21, Oscar. What happens when McLaren inevitably pull rank and say, look, Lando's our number 1 driver and Oscar Piastri is the number 2, a bit like Mark Webber in the Red Bull? It's so tantalizing. So they are the team on fire. They hold all of the cards, as some people would say. But it's going to be absolutely insane if they come together and someone behind a Russell, an Antonelli, a Verstappen can kind of leapfrog them in the championship if they have 2 DSQs like Ferrari's had. But McLaren at the moment, if you're a Papaya fan, if you're part of the Papaya platoon, you are absolutely loving this right now. So I say drink it in. Drink it in, because McLaren have been a meme team, GP2 engine, sponsorship world champions, just kind of larking about, like really bad cars, just going through meme era after. It was really bad after Ron Dennis, basically. They've had a long kind of transition And fair play to Zach Brown to bring it back. They are the team on fire right now. Okay, let's go to the podium prediction for Japan in the F1 this weekend. Podium prediction, I am going for a McLaren 1-2. Probably no surprise, but in which order am I going for it? Well, I'm going to go for Oscar Piastri to win. I think Oscar Piastri is going to win. I feel like Lando is going to crack a little bit under the championship pressure. And I feel like Lando's going to get that reputation again. Remember, he had the issue in Sochi back in Russia when he was leading the Grand Prix, didn't make the call for wet. Lewis Hamilton overtook him. That was seen as like a team bottling thing, but I think Lando has to take some responsibility there as well. They also had the turn 1 bottling as well. It doesn't matter if Lando starts on pole, he's going to bottle it into turn 1. Then we had the Lando bottling the win situation, Lando no wins. So he has all this like Tottenham level bottling association with him. And I feel like that's kind of maybe there for a reason. And Oscar doesn't have it. And the biggest thing about Oscar was the comeback from Melbourne, where I think he was the fastest driver. And I felt like McLaren actually pulled rank and said, Oscar, don't make this complicated, please. Just hold up and we'll sort it out at the end. To come back from that in China and actually win the race so commandingly, I thought was insane from Oscar Piastri. He's actually my pick for the World Drivers' Championship as well, but he's going to be my number 1. I think Lando's going to get number 2, and that's going to be incredible because that's going to squeeze the gap on the championship, so it's going to make it really exciting at the top of the championship with the 2 McLarens. In P3, I'm going to go for what you might think is a bit of a wild card. I'm going to go for Kimi Antonelli. Kimi Antonelli in P3. He is a driver impressing me so much at the moment. I just feel like he has no regard for kind of his career. He's going to take on everyone. He doesn't matter about getting in people's bad books. He's kind of got a bit of a Valentino Rossi vibe to him for me. And I just love the way he drives. And he's there at the moment, P5 in the championship with a P4 and a P6. Super consistent. Like, I really rate Kimi Antonelli. The drive in Melbourne was insane. Everyone spinning on the white lines. He really didn't care at all. He was just absolutely going for it. White lines, grass, over the curbs, like a mad lad. Absolutely rate Kimi Antonelli. Okay, who is going to be the bandit in F1 this weekend? Who's going to be the bandit? So by the bandit, I mean the driver that is just kind of off the rails, maybe taking people out, maybe just doing mad dive bombs. Who's going to be that driver where just like this, they've turned something off in their brain and everyone else on the radar, like, what is that guy doing? We've got many people that could be. It could be Carlos Sainz, because Carlos Sainz is under big pressure to actually get a result. I feel like he needs to kind of show that he's not too far off Alex Albon. It could be Oliver Behrman, who overtook a load of people in China, and he might be full of it and think I'm going to overtake a load of people. It could be Jack Doohan, because Doohan feels like he's got to show something, otherwise he's going to be binned for Colapinto at any moment. It could be Fernando Alonso. He could also be the bandit. I'm going to go for Lance Stroll being the bandit, because Lance Stroll is doing so well in the championship at the moment. P6 in Melbourne, a P9 in China. He is flying high. He's destroying Fernando Alonso. I think that might all get to his head. I think we might see Lance Stroll as the bandit in Formula 1 this weekend. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed it. And I'll see you for the race recap on the Kirith Motorsport channel.